Welcome to the Skill Builder session on writing a report. A report is a practical document that describes, details, or analyzes a situation so that the reader can make decisions or take specific action. There are many types of a report to be found across the commercial, professional, and academic sectors. They include product and business reports, lab and technical reports, and case study and research reports, including university dissertations. Depending on the nature of your report assignment and the subject of your study, you may be given specific guidelines or templates to follow. The following is, therefore, simply a general overview of the structure and content one might find in a standard report. Reports bear many similarities to standard university essays. For example, they too include the need for research, planning, and a clear structure. They also require the critical analysis and evaluation of evidence used to support the points or conclusions made in the report. Like essays, they require the referencing of sources to demonstrate the quality of research underpinning the report's findings. They need to be written clearly and succinctly in formal, objective, academic language. And finally, to ensure your report is treated with maximum respect, it should be edited and proofread before submission to ensure that it is error-free. However, reports differ from essays in a number of ways. Firstly, they are generally more formally structured, with a contents page, numbered sections, headings, and subheadings. Very often, they are targeted towards a specific purpose. For example, providing information or facts enabling someone to make a decision. For this reason, a report may also culminate in a series of recommendations based on its findings. Finally, in terms of presentation, a report may include all manner of tables, graphs, lists and bullet points, as well as the standard prose used in essays to convey information as clearly as possible. Before embarking on a report, it is important to establish its purpose. Is it simply to inform someone about a current situation, or is the purpose of it to provide the analysis and evaluation necessary to determine a course of action? Be clear about the aims and objectives of your report before embarking on it. As you can see, the structure of an essay is relatively simple, with a series of main body paragraphs in which you explore a question and build an argument, topped and tailed by an introduction and a conclusion. The structure of a report is more complex, not least because they can be long and detailed and therefore require more organisation. Of course, not all reports follow this sample template. However, these are the main ingredients you will often find in a report, and certainly in a research report such as a dissertation. Although appearing quite complex, the structure is flowing and logical. Let's take each of the ingredients one by one. Firstly, the title. Care should be taken that this perfectly matches the content of the report. Acknowledgements sometimes come next. If, for example, someone has lent you the use of a laboratory for a month or otherwise helped you compile a report in some way, you may wish to thank them. An executive summary may come next, or abstract, as it may be known in academia. This is a potted summary of the report, not an introduction, but a smaller 200 to 300 word version of the report, summarising its aims and objectives, methodology, findings, conclusions and recommendations. Everything, in fact, that a busy executive would need to know in order to have a clear overview of what is in the report. This may be followed by a contents page showing the different sections of the report and on what pages they can be found. Then will come the actual content of the report, the main body. But Before we discuss that, let's mention the two things that appear at the very end of the report. The first is your bibliography, the list of sources on which you have drawn whilst creating the report. After that, you may have an appendix containing any material you believe may be of interest to the reader of the report, but which is too long or technical or detailed to include in the main body of the report itself. Readers can be directed to the appendices in the main text. For example, see Appendix 1 for a full copy of the questionnaire. Next, let's look at the main body of the report. It will begin with an introduction outlining the context, focus, aims and objectives of the report. You may need to include background information next, anything you think the reader may need to know at the start in order to understand the content of the report. It may be that this can form part of your introduction. However, in some circumstances, the background information required may be extensive enough to warrant its own section. In a dissertation, that background information may well take the form of a literature review, which summarises what is already known about the topic you are investigating. Having told the reader in the introduction what your research intended to find out, the next section will tell them how you found it out, your methodology. Demonstrating a sound, well-considered methodology will add weight to your findings which follow. Next, you will present the findings of your report and what those findings mean. These may appear as separate sections as shown, or each major finding can be discussed, analysed and evaluated in turn. It is for you to decide how best to guide the reader through this process in the most logical and user-friendly way. The overall conclusions to be drawn from your findings will follow, leading naturally to any recommendations that can be made from them. To recap, a report should perform a function clarified at the outset, provide information in a logical, well-signposted order, present ideas and information, whether written or visual, as clearly as possible, use critically analysed evidence to support conclusions, offer clear recommendations as requested, and be accurately referenced and error-free on submission. For guidance on the broader range of skills needed to research and write a report, including your dissertation, please go to the SAS web pages at www.kent.ac.uk/SAS.